I start by invoking my gurus, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. I thank IAVM for vetting my paper, and I heartfelt thanks to Swati, who had been very patient in going through whatever this paper is presenting and guiding me all through from the beginning till what it is now. I feel it's still a work in progress, but I'm really happy to present this to this audience today. My paper is titled Geometric Narratives in Ritual Art, a Mathematical and Cultural Study of Saraswati Yantra and Aishwarya Kolam. I have been little background. I have been learning a lot on columns. It is a tradition from my childhood. I've been doing columns all my life, and this is something really close to my heart, connecting column with mathematics. To define or to give an introduction to column, Kolam is a very traditional art form. It's prevalent much in South India, where I come from. And mostly you would be seeing something like this. This is in front of my house. They are curved line patterns drawn on the threshold of a homes. And some columns are not like this, but a different kind of columns are drawn in religious places inside the prayer altars. It is definitely spread across India in different other names, and Rangoli is the most popular term all over India, which it is termed as all over India. The second one, or the second term I would like to introduce, is the term Yantra. Yantra is a little different from Kolam when it comes to presentation and as a tool what it is. Yantra literally means a tool or instrument or a machine in Sanskrit. But what we see in a yantra is a geometric diagram, and it's used as a tool for meditation, and sometimes or many times it represents a deity or a cosmic principle. It is prevalent in both Hindu, Buddhist, and some Jain traditions as well, the use of yantra drawings. Unlike columns, yantras are not drawn in the threshold. They are mostly for sacred rituals, which happens in Hindu and Buddhist traditions. So going forward, I have been let me move. Okay. I have been trying to connect these two columns, or one is called the Saraswati Yantra and the other is called the Aishwarya Kolam. So I'm trying to connect these two and make a connection and make an interaction with it using mathematics. The Saraswati Yantra, the one right now which is seen, this is drawing from my notebook. As soon as any mathematics person sees these triangles, always trigger something in our minds, and that's what happened. But it is and the other one is the Aishwarya Kolam, which is on the right here on the screen. And both of these columns are drawn in different regions, or predominantly drawn in different regions of India, and they are not many times I didn't see them together or not drawn by the same culture or tradition people. So to give a brief about the Saraswati Yantra, it's called a Yantra. And the deity invoked here for this drawing is the goddess Saraswati, who is regarded as the goddess of knowledge and wisdom and creativity. And the occasion, it is drawn in southwestern part of India, mostly Mumbai or Maharashtra and northern Karnataka and probably parts of Gujarat in India. And it's exclusively drawn in prayer altars only. And it's as you can see the shape, it is triangular, which is a little deviated from the knowledge of yantras we have. Yantras are usually radial in nature and has a central point or a bindu for concentration. Visually, this doesn't have it, though we can try to concentrate on it, and we can find it. But it is still called a Saraswati Yantra. And the intention for it is to seek knowledge, infinite knowledge. That is the intention for this drawing. And you would find it drawn by people in this region during the festivals of Gudi Padwa, which is a New Year festival, and during the festival of Navratri. And both these festivals invoke infinite knowledge, or invite infinite knowledge to gain infinite knowledge. And many times this is also kept in study places of children or in workspaces of people. And the next about Aishwarya Kolam. Aishwarya Kolam is more predominantly drawn in Tamil Nadu, where I come from, in South India. And the deity invoked here is the goddess Lakshmi. And what we are invoking it for is for abundance of wealth. And the occasions it's drawn, mainly I've seen my grandparents or anybody drawing during Fridays, especially on Fridays. This drawing is definitely drawn in the altar, and it is never drawn in front of the threshold. So it's also a drawing or a column for uh, uh, meditation and things like that. And this also is a geometric structure, but this time it is more radial, and we do have a central bindu point. Here the bindu is actually this is in Tamil, my mother tongue. It's written stream. Many times we would see a shri or a stream in the center, or just a dot, the bindu in the center. So though it's definitely called a kolam, but it has, or it exhibits the nature of the yantra here. So both of these drawings are definitely very similar, and invoking infinity is something happening in these two drawings. Let's zoom into Saraswati yantra. For pure mathematical inquiry, I have the Saraswati Yantra, I have removed, or I have ignored, or tried to see only the triangles in the drawing and taken away the spirals here and the curved line here, and brought in this image of Saraswati Yantra. And to establish the degree of Saraswati Yantra, this is again a term which, again, mathematical inquiry term, which I'm bringing in, is I tried to see if I can draw from 1 to infinity with the triangles which are happening in the Saraswati Yantra. So the degree of the Saraswati Yantra is basically, we are trying to determine with the horizontal lines here, and how many triangles are able to come up from one horizontal line. If we zoom into this picture of 5 triangles in the topmost layer, I would be terming this as a degree 5 Saraswati Yantra. So then scaling up and scaling down this triangular pattern, the degree 1 Saraswati Yantra will be one unitary triangle with the base of 1 unit between, the unit I'm terming it as the distance between the 2 red dots here. And the degree 2 Saraswati, 3 triangles with 1 on the base and 2 on top. And the degree 3 will have 3 triangles on the top, and so on. It goes on an incremental pattern. And this already, brings us the idea of patterns and triangular numbers, of course. So that brings us to the first part of, or this was the later part in my research presentation, but the first part of instant bivilokanam, we can say that we can easily determine the triangular numbers with this Saraswati Yantra, or the other way around. If we want to know how many little 1 unit triangles are there in any degree of Saraswati Yantra, we can use the formula of triangular numbers to come and answer this question. A more question, guys. So the formula for a triangular number is n into n plus 1 by 2. So this is a degree 5 Saraswati Yantra. We can see 5 little triangles on top. So the number of 1 unit triangles upward pointing, I would say, will be the 5th triangular number. And the number of upward pointing triangles, 1 unit triangles in this shape, will be 15. Having done that, we can, like I said, we can, vice versa, think of any degree Saraswati Yantra, and then, determine how many 1 unit upward pointing triangles are there using the formula for triangular numbers. But the inquiry did not end there. What I was looking at is the shapes of the Saraswati Yantra, and what I can see in the shapes of the Saraswati Yantra. So I had divided my inquiry into 2 parts. One is the even degree Saraswati Yantra, and one is the odd degree Saraswati Yantra, because I felt the shapes we are seeing there are a little different. So the first part of the inquiry, where I'm looking at only the even degree Saraswati Yantras, where, here in this picture, you can see the degree 2, where there are 2 triangles on top, the 2 triangles on top. So this will be the degree 2, and there are 4 and there are 6 here. So that's the first part. And we tried to look at the shapes or the triangular shapes that are coming in these Saraswati Yantras. And if we see the degree 2 Saraswati Yantra, we can see 3 triangles joining together at one center point, or the bindu here in the center point, 3 1-unit triangles. But as the degree of Saraswati Yantra increases evenly in even manner, when we go to the 4, we can see the same 3 1-unit triangles going away from each other, and then the distance between the 3 triangles, the 3 unit upward pointing triangles, increases or extends to 2 units. But then the second observation here is then there is another 3 upward pointing triangles. This time these 3 triangles are 2-unit triangles. If you see here, this is a base 2-unit triangle. Why did yeah, base 2-unit triangle, and this is one more base 2-unit triangle, and this is one more base 2-unit triangle. So there is another formulation of 2-unit triangles, and this time the triangles are going towards each other. So I called it a negative movement. The first one is the one which is going away from each other. There is a distance, a positive distance, but this time it's a negative distance by going towards each other, and the distance is 1 unit here. Which bring us a little 1-unit triangle upward pointing. So consider and continuing to look at the movement of these 3 triangles. The first degree 2 had 3 1-unit triangles. Degree 4 Saraswati Yantra had 3 1-unit triangles at a distance, and then 3 2-unit triangles at a distance. And continuing and going further and further in this inquiry, I did project till degree 16 or degree 18 Saraswati Yantras, but in this I'm only showing till 6. The third one, again, if we observe that the 1-unit triangle goes further away, and then the 2-unit triangles has 1-unit distance here, and then the 3-unit triangles have a 2-unit distance but towards each other. So this study came to an involvement of finding out a formulae or evaluating a formulae to say that the shapes, the three triangles and how they are moving, and figure out the series of geometric series which can present or represent the Saraswati Yantra to any degree, the nth degree Saraswati Yantra. So looking at the even degree Saraswati Yantras, first, my first job was to try to define the terms, because otherwise it will be difficult to represent the whole Saraswati Yantra. So these are the definitions I tried to come up with. So Dn represents the degree of the Saraswati Yantra of the nth order. So for example, this is D2, this will become D2, and this will become D4, and so on. Unit of measurement is the distance between the 2 dots here, is 1 unit. And Tn is the triangle of n, and the distance of n units. So 1 unitary triangle will be T1, and a 2-unit triangle, for example, will be T2, and so on. 3Tn is this little shape which is formed by joining the 3 triangles for and the distance of the triangle of n units, or the base of the triangle as n units. And then finally 3Tn, and I couldn't put brackets there because if I put parenthesis, it kind of became like a multiplication. So I had to express it in some way. So I did that greater than less than symbol and an X there. So this will literally represent the term for the 3-unit triangles. So the 3 triangles, the formation of the 3 triangles, and the X is the distance between the formation of the 3 triangles. So basically this will be the degree 2 Saraswati Yantra has 3 1-unit triangles. So it's 3T1, and the distance between the 1-unit triangles is 0. So the definition or the term for this will be 3T1 0. And similarly, if we go, the number of terms increases as the degree of Saraswati Yantra increases, and that observation brought us to the series of the Saraswati Yantra, which we can define. And lastly, where does the series end in any degree Saraswati Yantra was the next task to do. And we have observed that it always ends at 3Tn by 2. Suppose for a degree 6 Saraswati Yantra, the last biggest shaped triangle will be 6 by 2, that is 3. So the series will end at 3T3. And then the distance between the triangles will be a -2. And that is how we came up with the series to formulate or to formulate the scaling of the Saraswati Yantra using these three triangles. Continuing further, the odd degree of Saraswati Yantra had the same three triangles, the shape of three triangles, but then there was one extra, is this solitary triangle, one unit triangle, which always appeared at the last biggest triangle in all the shapes. So for that, this formula slightly changed. The definition of terms still remained the same, and we still tried to find the distance as the degree increased in a Saraswati Yantra. But then the formula slightly changed to find out the last shape, which is the unitary triangle. The base of the largest triangle is always 3t n plus 1 by 2. This triangle, and then the confluence of the three triangles is always 3t n minus 1 by 2. And this is how we try to bring the scaling of the Saraswati Yantra using the three triangles. Now, this actually, is I try to shorten it in as much as I can. I try to bring much detailed representation of the formulae and everything in the paper, which probably will be published later, with little more, tweaking according to my gurus James and James and Swati. But continuing with the inquiry, I would like to, express this inquiry had, given me connection with the Vedanta philosophy of this mantra, which comes in Ishavasya Upanishad and also some other Upanishads as an invocatory mantra, which is called the Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Purnam here calls on to infinity, and then the Saraswati Yantra is venerated for infinite knowledge, and the drawing progresses from unity to infinity, and that Brahman is infinite, and then invoking that infinite knowledge is in the Saraswati Yantra. This verse actually encapsulates, I mean, the concept, mathematical concept of infinity, at the same time the concept of Brahman, which is infinite, who is infinite. And then the Saraswati Yantra is the visual, I felt, or I could see the visual embodiment of that profound idea of infinity. But the inquiry did not just end there. Proceeding further to Aishwarya Kolam, this is the traditionally drawn Aishwarya Kolam with Bindu in the center. And scaling of this column has been explored by a paper presenter previously in about a couple of years ago or 2-3 years ago, by an author called Srinivasan R. And he had presented a paper on scalable Hridaya Kamalam and Aishwarya Kolam. To give a brief about Hridaya Kamalam, it is also an altar column, which is prepared in the altars on Friday, just like Aishwarya Kolam in the Tamil Nadu region. So this paper was looking at scaling these two columns. So I personally felt that it would be really not necessary to do that. And in that paper, the researcher had seen these two shapes, the shape of Damaru, he called it the Damaru, and the triangle, and how the distances vary according to the scaling of the Aishwarya Kolam. So moving forward, what I was trying to do is trying to find the Saraswati Yantra in the Aishwarya Kolam. And to do that, there was again a mathematical inquiry. I had to, adjust the Aishwarya Kolam a little to find the Saraswati Yantra visually, though I would, always feel that there is a Saraswati Yantra in the Aishwarya Kolam. So what happens is when the first step is to draw or join the inner nodes of this star with the regular hexagon. Once we join the regular hexagon, we get this pattern of Aishwarya Kolam. Once seeing this pattern, there are 6 Saraswati Yantras automatically revealed in the Aishwarya Kolam. I have only highlighted one in green, so it is really visible that the same pattern repeats radially around this center are the 6 Saraswati Yantras. So this revelation actually, makes us to go into deeper mathematical inquiry. If we are looking at mathematics of Saraswati Yantra, then Aishwarya Kolam will have sixfold knowledge of mathematics in it. There is, however, a structural unity and a shared symbolism between these two diagrams. One talks about infinite knowledge, and the other talks about infinite prosperity, and both of it is infinity. So I would stop my presentation here, because there are directions or for future research, and that is like immense. And the first main is, I just concentrated only on the triangular numbers, which are like the small upward pointing triangles. But the number of triangles in the Saraswati Yantra itself is a curious way of learning, or counting shapes and counting the number of triangles of various sizes in the Yantra. And looking at the downward pointing triangles did not happen in this paper. That's for future research. And then secondly, for the Aishwarya Kolam, uh, scaling of Aishwarya Kolam was already done by an earlier researcher, but then mathematical impact or parallels with the Saraswati Yantra and the Aishwarya Kolam needs a deeper examination. And future number sequences, what we can see, whether we are still seeing the triangular numbers, or are there any new sequences which can come out of Aishwarya Kolam, is another part of future research. And then the third one, not the least, but looking at other dimensions of the both the diagrams. I did come across one research by Dr. Sujata, a former ISRO scientist, who had done a 3D Saraswati Yantra. So instead of just triangles, we are using a triangular prism, and then how it goes from unity to infinity, the triangular prisms in that diagram. So exploring a 3D Aishwarya Kolam would be really incredible. So that's it. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present and